What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up out there? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X. We have TikTok. I just wanted to jump on really quick for all my next door fans, my community social media platform or handle. What's up? Because I will be downloading this to all of them. I really wanted to jump on really quick on Facebook because it's the easier one for me to download. And I kind of wanted to jump on to talk about 2026. What is your plan for 2026? We are a week into 2026. I would like to know how everybody is doing with your goals, with the start of your goals. And then I also wanted to share some things with you as far as, I would say, best practices when goal setting. So for all of you that are, I would say, goal setters that have a vision board set up or haven't had the opportunity to set a vision board up, I wanted to kind of walk you through some of the things that I do that I found successful over the last 3 years, really since I implemented this in a different way. So I'm going to take about 15 minutes of my time just to share some things with you, share some thoughts with you, and kind of give you at a high level, how I go about processing this. Now, just to kind of jump off, I want to start off by saying for everybody that has a smartphone or everybody that has GPS in their cars, one of the things that GPS stand for is Global Positioning System, right? And, one thing about a global positioning system is that when we are in trouble or in doubt of where we need to get and how to get there, one of the biggest things we do is we type in the address, and then that GPS system, it'll show up on the screen and it'll talk to you as you're driving. If you're getting ready to make a wrong turn, it'll give you a heads up. It'll tell you when you need to turn, when you need to get off, when you need to get back on. So everybody understands that. So with that GPS system, that same acronym, GPS, Global Positioning System, do you have a GPS for your life's goals or for this year's goals? So when I say GPS, I don't mean Global Positioning System, I mean growth potential system. Do you have something in place, a growth potential system in place that you can see that will direct you in the ways that you need to be directed as you go throughout 2026? That's the super important thing that I'm talking about. So I do want to share with you guys, though, if you don't have one, it's a good idea to get one. A man without a plan plans to fail. And whether you think you can hit it or whether you think you can't, you're right. Either one, you're right. So keep that in mind. So I wrote down some notes because I do want to kind of take a look at them. Typically, I won't look at notes. I go right off the cuff because that's the way I do it. It's all authentic and all genuine. But for those of you that's out there that don't have a goal in place or a specific goal or a specific vision for this year, one of the things that I want to share with you, and you can count on this and you can bet me 100% of the time that I'll be right. If you are shooting at a blind target, you will hit it every time. And I can guarantee you that. If you're shooting at a blind target, you will hit it every time. If you don't have a wellness goal in place, if you don't have a spiritual goal in place, physical, mental, emotional, or financial goal in place, I can guarantee you you're going to hit that goal every time. You're going to achieve it. So what do I do? One of the biggest things that I do is I use an acronym called CAR, right? And we're going to get into my vision boards because I got 3 years worth of vision boards where I actually had the opportunity to see growth over all 3 years, but there was a plan in place. So back to my acronym, CAR. So when you're thinking of your goals, remember GPS, growth potential system. That's my new GPS. It is going to direct you, whether that's your vision board, whether it's a goal setting plan that you have in place that you started for the 2026 year. My acronym for my growth potential system is CAR. So when I think of my goals for like last year and the year before last and even this year, I sit down and I reevaluate how I operated year over year. Like, what did I do last year and what can I do to influence this year? Okay, and that's super important. So CAR, think of it. Stop, specific, time-bound, objective, and practical. That's the first part. We have to stop. Is your goal specific? Is your goals time-bound? Is your goals objective? And is it practical? That's super important. So you want to stop there. You want to look at that. So as you get ready to evaluate your goals and you get ready to start writing them down or start writing down your vision board, you want to be sure that they are specific, time-bound, objective, and practical. So what do I mean specific? I want to lose 10 pounds, that's a broad goal, right? I'm using this for example. I want to lose 10 pounds by March 1st. That's more specific. Time bound. I gave you the time frame. March 1st is the goal. Objective. Is it an objective? Yes, it's objective that I can lose 10 pounds by March 1st. And is it practical? And it is practical as well. So stop, look at your goals and see if they're specific, time bound, objective, and practical. Now cars what? They move, right? So now you have to speak it into existence. So CAR, is it constructive? Is it announced? And is it recorded? And that's where you come in right here with your vision boards, with your goal setting plan, with your ideas that you have for this year. Do you have a plan in place? Is it constructive? Is it announced? Is it recorded? You want to make sure you announce all of your goals. And what I mean by that is you have to speak your goals into existence. And is it recorded? Yes, it's recorded. You know why? Because you wrote it down and you put it in a place where you can physically and visibly see it all the time. So with that, I got a call coming in, but I'm going to cut that call short. So stop CAR, specific, time bound, objective, practical. Is it constructive? Is it announced? And is it recorded? So that is how I set up my vision board or my growth potential system for 2026. Now, the only reason you should look back at your goals to compare them to this year is not in a way where it's going to discourage you, right? You want to look at your goals from last year or your vision board from last year, and you want to see where were the gaps at, where were the misses at, where were the hits at, where was the opportunity at. Think of it as a SWOT analysis, right? What were the strengths of your last year's goal? What were the weaknesses? What were the opportunities? What were the threats? That's what you want to think about. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Those are what you want to look at. And then you want to sit down and go over this year's goal. And I always say when you look at it from this perspective, is from the book of Thomas Havoc. He writes down in his book, the aggregation of marginal gain. So what do I mean by the aggregation of marginal gain? The aggregation of marginal gain is really looking at in this instance, is looking at last year's goals, right? Seeing where you didn't make that goal out, or you didn't achieve it, or you didn't accomplish it, figuring out what it was and filling the gaps this year. So that's what we're doing now. We fill in the gaps this year. So if you don't have your vision board set, which you should have it set by now, if you don't have your growth potential system in place right now, you should be doing that. Remember, a man without a plan plans to fail. We can't wish for anything we not willing to work for. But more importantly, we have to go out and get it. We have to be doers. Like the Bible says, we have to be not just sayers of the word. We have to be doers of the word. We have to be doers. We have to go out and produce a favorable outcome. Obviously, you want to put God first. That's the number one thing that I always talk about. Put God first and everything else will follow. So you have to have, back to the aggregation of marginal gain, you have to be able to look at last year and have a comparison, not to discourage you, but have a comparison to help you to be better this year or to fill the gaps for this year. I'm going to pause and I'm going to say that again. When you compare year-over-year goals or your growth potential, right? When you're looking at last year's vision board and you comparing it to what you need to do this year, it shouldn't be to discourage you. It should be only to encourage you to fill the gaps of where you didn't hit at, right? Where did I go wrong on? What was the strengths? What was the weaknesses? What was the opportunities? And what was the threats? Where do I need to get better at? And that's what I mean by the aggregation of marginal gain. So with that, I'm going to just break down just something really quick, high level, like I told you guys I was going to do. I am a goal setting type of person. We have vision boards throughout our house. One's for me. One, Chandra has her own. Even Braylon has his own vision board. My stepson has his own vision board about things that he wants to accomplish for this year. And if you start people out young, they will continue that as they grow older. So if you train a child in the way that he should go, that's what you want to do. So that's just on the children's side. But me and Chandra, we both have our own separate vision boards that we put together. But then we have a married couple vision board that we use together, things that we want to accomplish together over the course of 2026 as a married couple, in line with what God's will is, in line with what, God wants for us, or in line with his grace and his discernment. So that's super important. So one thing that I did was I brought my vision boards on, and I wanted to share them with you. I'm not sharing them with you guys for you can see them. I'm sharing with you so you can see how a vision board should be set up, or how your growth potential system should be set up in order for you to produce a favorable outcome, or to see some growth over the course of whether it's spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. You can see some growth year over year. Now, one thing that people do is they put growth potential systems in place, or vision boards in place, and the only goal that they have in place is the money goal. And that should be the least thing that they think about, because if you take care of everything else, and I always shared this at every leadership position that I've held throughout my career, if you take care of the little things, the money will follow that. You don't have to worry about the money. If you're getting up on time and you're taking care of your spiritual life, if you're taking care of yourself physically, remember, our bodies are the temple of God. If we're taking care of our body physically, if we taking care of our minds mentally, if we taking care of our hearts and guarding them emotionally, you know what? Financially, everything is going to follow through that, because you're doing things with good intentions. So understand that. So back to what I'm saying, I really was excited about getting this. I just went out for a 1 mile run. I actually cut my run short for you guys so I could come back and share some things with you. So if you don't have a growth potential system in place right now as we speak, or your vision board, this is a great time. It's a great tip that I'm giving you guys today, and it works. Is bulletproof. I promise you, it's childproof. I have a 9-year-old with a growth potential system in place, or with a vision board in place, so to speak. So it just takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time on your part to make sure that you can sit down and really evaluate it. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people wish for things, but they're not willing to work for them. So I want you guys to be really, intentional about what I'm about to communicate. And like I mentioned, my vision boards is not to show you my vision boards. It's to show you things that I look at as I start to move forward from year to year. So I'm going to show you my first vision board, which was in 2024. So when I came down to Atlanta, I said, I'm going to take a different approach. Obviously, God's first. That's the number one thing. So my spiritual goal has to be in place first. Then my physical goal, then my mental goal, then my emotional goal, and then my financial goal. And everything that I do should flow through what God's will is for me. So understand that. And then with that, I want to be a good steward of everything that God is giving me, is allowing me to manage in this lifetime or in this year. I want to be a good steward of that. So I want to pull these vision boards up. So the first year, and I'm just going to show these really quick, and I ain't going to show them a lot. I'm just going to show them a little bit. So if you look at my vision board from 2024, right? All right, that's my vision board for 2024. And I want you to make note of one thing. You don't have to try to have all of these goals in place that you know that it's going to be challenging to accomplish. If you see on my 2024 board, I want you to pay attention to it. If you see on my 2024 board, it was specific things that I had in place. And then I grew. I just grew, like podcasts, sell books, launch J. Alexander, launch my business online, my e-commerce, God First, Baptism, Engaged, which Future Vision, 10-year plan, Disney trip. And my goals were somewhat specific, but not all specific. I was making a transition from Ohio to Georgia. I was in the process of putting things in place and allowing God to move in my life. So I was really just at a point where, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to start here, because you have to start somewhere. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You have to take this first step. But it's not the journey that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoe. So you have to look at those small things that actually can be distractions, and you have to remove those in order to move forward. So I want you guys to understand that as well, too. So that was my first year, 2024. Very fluff. It was very fluffy. I'll say it myself. When I look at 2026 and I look at 2024, I was like, oh, wow, I wasn't doing anything. So understand that you don't have to try and do all big things. If it's 4 or 5 small goals that you have in place, or a vision that you have in your place for this year. Put it in place. Write it down. That's going to help you to be able to see it, and it's going to help you to be able to know if you need to make any adjustments throughout the way, not in the goal itself, but if you have to make any adjustments in your process to get to that goal. So I always say, stay committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the result or the outcome. If you're looking at the end result and you're trying to, get discouraged by the end result and your process is in place, you don't have to worry about the end result. You're going to reach the goal. But if your process is not in place and you're looking at the end result, you can guarantee that you're not going to hit that goal. So I say there's going to be adversity, opposition. There's going to be trials and tribulations throughout 2026 that may slow you down from getting to a goal. So you have to be able to touch base in 3 months, 6 months at a time. I like to look at mine each month to see how far I've come along. Do I need to make any adjustments? But you may have to make some adjustments based off of that. Obviously, you want to take everything to God in prayer and fasting at the end of the day and let him give you discernment on what you need to do in order to get to that goal, in order to get to where he needs you to be at or to be in his will. God first. I never forget that. So this was 2025's. Now, if you see from 2024 to 2025, look. See from 2024 to 2025. So that's my 2025 vision board or my growth potential system. So if you notice, my growth potential system grew from year to year, right? I had attained. Wait, I want to stop right there. Whenever you're writing a specific goal down that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's your vision board or whether it's a growth plan or whatever it is, if it's if you put in a business, whatever you're trying to accomplish, at the end of the year, you want to always believe in the 80-20 rule. You want to have been successful 80% of the time. You want to get at least 80% of that done. Obviously we work, we have families, we have things we need to do. So if you get to 100%, that's good. Maybe you need to add some additional goals. But if you don't, then that 80% is a sweet spot. The 80-20 rule. If you reach 80% of your goals throughout 2026, you have done a fantastic job. You want to shoot for the stars. Even if you land on the moon, that's still a good place to be at. So if you notice from my 2025, I added more goals. So I had church weekly, fast and pray, meditate, read at least 4 books, help someone through a mental situation twice, physical 2 times, emotional. I had an emotional goal. I had a financial goal. I had a professional goal, podcast grow. Like my goals grew, and then Chandra had her goals over here as well. So, and then we had some that we put down the middle that we had for ourselves, for our spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial goals. So if you notice from my year 2024 to 2025, my GPS, my growth potential system, or my vision board actually grew. And anything that's healthy will grow. So if you being successful in 2026, it should help you grow in 2027. So remember that. That's the super important thing. And I always say, when you think of how you should grow or what you should, when you're looking at your plan from last year, if you hit every goal in your growth potential system or vision board, one thing you want to do is you want to increase your productivity or your opportunities or your goals by 2 to 3%. 5% is a good sweet spot. I always like to go anywhere from 5 to 7%. I want to increase my goals. So if I did, for example, arbitrary number, if I did 6 book signings this year, I want to add 1 or 2 more book signings next year. So you want to increase that by 5 to 7%. If you want to be aggressive and you really want to say, hey, you know what? I got more free time. I'm going to be excited about this. I got this goal, these goals that I have in place, all of them spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. I want to increase this by XYZ. Then you go up to 10%. Increase it by 10%. Remember, I always say it's all going to be on your ability to, let's go back to it. Set specific, time-bound, objective, practical, constructive, announced, and recorded goals. So stop CAR. You have to have that in place in order to get there. But If you want to increase your goals by 5 to 10% each year, that's good. Add 2 or 3 more things if you've been successful. If you are hitting your goals 6 to 7 months or 4 to 5 months within a year, that's great because you achieved those goals. But then that should open your eyes as to giving you more opportunity to understand that, hey, you know, I set this goal or this goal to get to XYZ and I hit it. Am I setting my goals too low, right? So is my vision board for 2026 like my vision board for last year? No, it's not. Is my global positioning for 2025 the same as 2024? Is it the same for 2024 to 2026? No, it's not. It's different. So when you think about it, a lot of times we set the bar too low and we hit it, right? Because we're afraid of setting the bar too high and missing it. So I like to set the bar high for myself, because whenever you set the bar super high for yourself, even if you fall short of that, you know, some people set their goals too low and they achieve them. Me, I'm an overachiever, so I'm going to set my goals really high. And even if I fall short, I still give me the opportunity to go back and look at, okay, where was I at? What was my aggregation and marginal gain? Where do I need to fill the gaps? What's my SWOT? Do a SWOT analysis on your goal setting. You know, what was the strengths? What was the weaknesses? What was the opportunities? What was the threats? Where do I need to get better at? Where am I comfortable at? You know, anything that's healthy will grow. If you set healthy goals, they will grow from year to year to year to year. Okay, lastly, this is my vision board for 2026. Now this is 2026 vision board. Right? So I just let y'all see that. 2026, I am shooting for the stars in 2026. And my uncle taught me this. Cash, I want to give you a shout out. Cash told me this, man, it ain't no plan B. Your plan B is to grind and work hard until plan A works. And that's my mentality. So I set the bar really high for myself because I expect a lot from myself. And then I have a good partner. My wife is a good support network for me to help me achieve those goals just as well as I'm here to help her achieve her goals as well. But the most important thing is that I put God first and I pray over everything. So before I sat down and wrote my goals down, as opposed to in 2024 when I wrote them down, I was just moving somewhat in line with what God wanted, but not really all the way. When I sat down and I evaluated my goals, I prayed about them first. And then I wrote down what my vision board should look like based off of, you know, what God, you know, communicated or spoke to me in my spirit. So that's the only difference between 2026 and 2024. But then also between 2026 and 2026, I had the opportunity to achieve a lot of those goals. More than 80% of the goals that I set out for myself over those 3 years on my vision boards, I achieved. And Chandra's sitting right there. She watched it. She like, oh my God, you did do that. You did that. You know, some of them I actually exceeded. You know, I overachieved. I was only supposed to read 4 books last year. And, you know, I read 6 books last year. I was supposed to hit a certain financial goal. I blew that out of the water. So I was supposed to have a certain spiritual goal that I set for myself, and God just maintained that. So I don't want to let you guys think it's anything that I'm doing for myself. I pray about everything. I'm in line with what God has in store for me. But the most important part is I'm a good steward of what God gives me. And I'm really blessed to be able to say that. I can remember a time in my life when you wouldn't hear me talk about Jesus or God or nothing in my life, you know, but I danced with the devil for too long. So I always tell people, if you don't want to hear about God on my podcast or my social media platforms or my handles, then don't skip past me, because when I was out there wilding and doing things like that, everybody was clapping. Yeah, get some more. But when I changed my life over, it's like, I ain't brand new. I'm new in Christ, but cheer for me now too and pray for me too. But that's the biggest thing. So as I just recap this goal setting session, I wanted to jump on really quick because I had a sound bite for y'all. So when you think of, just to kind of recap, when you think of your vision board, if you have not had the opportunity to set your 2026 vision board, be sure to pray about it first. And be sure that you are aligning your goals with things that you can accomplish. You don't want to make it too easy to where you're accomplishing things within, a 3-month period, but you do want to look at it like I told you before. Stop CAR, specific, time-bound, objective, practical, constructive, announced, and recorded. You want to make sure you have a plan in place, a goal-setting plan, a vision board plan, a global, a growth potential system plan in place. It's your GPS, your global positioning system. Your vision board is your GPS for your life, for what you want to accomplish this year. It's your growth potential system. Do you have a spiritual goal in place? I always say have one of those in place. Do you have a physical goal in place? Do you have a mental goal in place? Do you have a emotional goal in place? And then if you have a financial goal in place, if you've taken care of everything else, the financial piece will always follow that. That's the most important thing. So have your GPS in place. And then when you really think about it, think about last year, not to discourage you. When you compare apples to apples and year over year, that shouldn't discourage you last year. It should just give you the opportunity to understand, like I say, the book of Thomas Havoc, the aggregation of marginal gain. Where did I miss at in 2025? Where do I need to be better at in 2026? And then you just want to fill the gaps. Fill the gaps, that's it. And keep it moving forward. And then one of the most important things is to, I always say this, and this is my 6 P's. Proper process and preparation prevents poor performance. You got to keep that in place. Your 6 P's, keep those in place, and that way you can accomplish and achieve the goals that you set for yourself, or achieve the vision board that you set for yourself at the end of the year. And remember that the key word that I said is process. Process is super important. You have to stay committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the result or the outcome. I meet with people all the time and sit with people, and we going over goal setting, whether it's for wellness, whether it's for rehab, whether it's for finance, whether it's for books. If you show me your process, I will tell you your result. You have to have the proper process in place to prevent poor performance. Proper process, and stay committed to that process without being emotionally attached to the result or the outcome, because I can guarantee you throughout the year, we are going to run into some adversity and opposition. We are going to have trials and tribulations. And then when we get in those situations, what happens is we don't rise to the occasion. We revert back to our old training. So whatever you did, that's what you will do when you get in a situation where you face adversity and opposition, trials, tribulations. You don't rise to the occasion. You revert back to your training. So keep that in mind. And I always say, we're closing this. Remember this, you have to do exactly what you said that you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left. So if you writing these goals down, when it get tough, you got to do what you said you would do long after this mood, long after the mood that you set it in has left. Because once we go down that road and we set these goals, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work for us to get there. So you can't wish for anything, like I said, more than you're willing to work for it. You have to work. You have to put the work in. And so that's super important. And then lastly, I just want to say, as I close, because I do want to close, compare your years to years. So I have 3 years worth of vision boards or growth potential systems. And each year I've increased that by 5% to 7%. From year 24 to 25, from 25 to 26, and then from 26 to, obviously 26 is this year. But I've increased, what I want to accomplish throughout those years. But as I always say, I always do it now in line with what God's will is. So I take it to God in prayer, I take it to God in fasting, and then I make my moves. So I want to share something with you guys too. And if you don't have a vision board, and you're getting ready to set your vision board, the next layer to that to help you really dial into your vision board is you have to have a life's mission statement, a life's vision statement, and values. So I'll share mine with you all, and then I'll cut this short. So my mission in my life is to help people reach their full potential spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially through wellness. That's my mission. My vision is to create a healthier world in those same areas. My values are to take everything to God in prayer and fasting, so I don't move without God. and then also to model the behavior that I want from other people spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. So that's my mission, vision, and my value statement. So when I look at my vision board, when it's time for me to set my vision board, I can say no to something based off of what my mission, vision, and values are, or I can say yes to it based off of what my mission, vision, and values are. So that's super important. So you have to understand that if you don't have a mission statement, vision statement, and value statement for your life, I would encourage you to create one. It's something that it'll always evolve, because as you grow, that should grow, but it should have a common theme. Number one theme should be God, and then as God, speak to you spiritually in your spirit to change things or to adjust this, but it should have a foundation that's built on God and what God has in a line for you and what God's will is for you. So that's what I do. I just want to share it with you all. But mission, vision, value statement for your life. You have to have that. And it allows for you to easily say, hey, you know what? I can do that. Oh, heck no, I ain't about to do that. That ain't even align with what my vision is, or my values are, or my mission is. I can't do that. I could say no to something, yes to something, or no response is an answer as well. But anyway, that's mission, vision, value statements for your life. And then also your vision board, think of it as your growth potential system, your GPS. If you are putting a GPS in your phone to get from Atlanta to Ohio, how more important is it for you to have a growth potential system in place to drive you to success and to produce a favorable outcome from 2026 to 2027? That's super important. I can't say it anymore. GPS, global positioning system, your growth potential system. That's your vision board. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, I just want to share with you guys, hopefully you could take something away from this. If not, I want to just share this with you. You can come back to this and watch this. And I can guarantee you this. How you do small things is how you do all things. And how you do anything is how you do everything. So remember that. I'm going to close with that. And that's all I got for you. I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is Jermaine. I'm coming from Back and Balance, the podcast. I'm at the Back and Balance lab right now. And I just wanted to jump on. I felt so excited and so full of joy that I said, you know what? I'm going to stop my run short. I'm not going to do a Facebook Live from the top of the mountain. I'm going to go to the studio and I want to really just break this down to them and really have them to have an understanding of what's the importance of having a vision board and what that vision board should look like. It should be a growth potential system that you should speak to God with to get discernment on what goals you should have in your life for 2026. That's all I have for you guys right now. I am going to step off. Stay tuned for more content coming from Back and Balance, the podcast. Coming from myself, Jermaine, Chandra. We have a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline for J. Alexander Publishing, for those of you that don't know. But we'll share that with you. But I definitely wanted to get this message out. The best way to keep something is to give it away. And I'm trying to give it away to you. And like my former boss, Sabarish George, told me, you cannot be successful if you don't take anybody with you. Success is not something that you do alone, but you got to bring somebody with you. You got to bring somebody with you. So I'm extending that to you all. And with that, I'm going to close. And remember, like I always say, never let anybody steal your peace or your joy. This is Jermaine, Back and Balance, the podcast.